G'day and welcome. So, when I was about 6, I think, we had a painter around and he was painting the outside of the house, looking in the window, had me getting on a kitchen bench and putting a safety pin into a power point and getting a nasty electric shock. There were no RCD devices, safety switches, that sort of thing back then, and of course, I learned pretty quickly that electricity was fairly dangerous. I got Dad's 12-volt car vacuum cleaner, wired it up to 240 in their bedroom once, turned it on, blew it up, stained the carpet, and I became quite scared of it at that point. So I'd had some pretty stern warnings. Now, I used to go around rubbish piles as a little kid. I would have been 9 or 10, and around there, and picking up things that I thought I could get going. Floor polishers, vacuum cleaners, radios, hairdryers, anything like that. Take them home, repair them, plug them in. Well, let's just revisit that. Take them home, clean them, plug them in, cross my fingers, and I always ask Dad, can you watch this, or do you want to help me with this? So, rubbish piles are something that I still look at to this day. When I drive past, I very rarely pick anything up. I think 10 years ago I picked up a vintage Victor Mayfair, and I even put a rubbish pile out a couple of weeks ago, and by the time I got that in the post, there was nothing to stick it to. All the vultures had come around and they'd taken everything. So rubbish piles have always been popular, particularly since eBay. People pick up other people's trash and try and flog it off. That or, recycled metal merchants and stuff like that. So now it's about cars, right? So I go to the wreckers, and I like going to the wreckers. I've been going to get bits for Starlies while I fix this one up over here. And as I'm looking through, I look at different brands and what's there and why it's there. And a lot of cars that are there aren't even damaged, they're just stripped. So, for example, most of the time the mileage is around 200 to 250,000, which is scratching the surface on a Japanese car. The secret to any engine is just regular oil changes. And I've seen a Daihatsu Charade 3-cylinder in immaculate condition with nearly 500,000 on the clock, and it still ran perfectly on its original engine. It was donated to work, and the secret was it had oil changes every 5 to 10,000 kilometres. So I'm walking through, and there's some footage coming up, and there's an N14 Pulsar, 2-litre SR20 motor, 5-speed manual, sunroof, power windows, everything, and it's in the wreckers with no damage on it, just stripped. And I always look at these things and think, why would you dispose of a car like this? They're great cars. And a lot of the reasons would be servicing costs. So most modern cars have McPherson strut suspension, so by the time you replace the top bearing and the new strut and all that sort of stuff, and front end rebushing and brake rotors and tyres, you can be up for a bill for $3,000. And people don't want to spend that on an old car; they just flop it off. And deceased estates are another thing where someone passes and their car's there, and quite often deceased estate cars are great. They're owned by elderly people to look after them. But no one in the family wants the car, and they don't want to go through the hassle of selling it or getting roadworthies because it's registered, so they just ring up a towie and he comes and takes it. So I don't like waste. I've got a problem with it. So you can buy cars from the wreckers. Some wreckers. Some won't sell them, some will. Some of the larger ones will have a holding yard where they'll have cars temporarily in the holding yard so the public have a chance to go and haggle with them to buy the car complete before it goes out onto the yard. That's one way of doing it. You do quite often pay a pretty hefty price, depending on what the vehicle is and how much they think they can make from the parts, that sort of thing. But a lot of it depends whether it's been put on the written off vehicle register. So if the car's in a collision, obviously, if there's been an insurance payout, it'll go straight on the register, particularly post 98 stuff. And it's not, you can't register. It's just a hassle going down that road. So once the cars are out on the yard, there's a possibility to buy them too. But again, if you buy it on a Tuesday and you can't organise a tow truck there till Friday, it's free game. So the parts that are in there might not be there by the time you have your tow truck coming down to pick the car up. And the other thing they do with those cars, when they put them out on the wrecking yard floor or lot, whatever you want to call it, they drain the fluids. Engine and gearboxes and coolant is quite often drained out just by their plugs, whereas fuel tanks are quite often pierced, and the fuel's taken out that way. And catalytic converters can be taken out as well, and air conditioning, degas. So yeah, it's got to be something worth doing. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, going around the wreckers and having a look, I had an idea. So I hope you enjoy. These are another car I like, N14 Pulsar. These were new when I was at Nissan. This is an SR21, these things fly along. Really good car, and they're well equipped, power steering, everything. This one had a sunroof, so it'd be a TI. Oh, yes, it was a TI, you can see where the badge was. And again, was probably in good running condition when it came here. It's just a shame, it's so wasteful. I can't stand this sort of thing because it's they're such good cars, such nice cars to drive. Bought my mother, or she bought a LX, which was the first the imported ones. They were locally made, and this is a TI as well by the look of it. But the LX had the 1600, yeah, same as that GA16. Great cars, absolutely great cars. Nissan were always a bit hot and cold with me. I either loved what they did or hated it. You know, they weren't as consistent, I don't think, as what Toyota were, but they surely did make some lovely, lovely products. Some hotheads taking the injectors out of that. They're a nice motor. SR20s are a great engine. These things are maligned. That is a U13 Bluebird. There's a better one. Some of these had a heads up, although look at that raced. This would be a Triple S, judging by seat trim, and it still smells good inside. It doesn't smell like a car to reckon. It just smells like they always did. 273, and had the heads up display. These were a great car. I had a TI, which was the same as this. Is a stick shift, this one too. Mine was an Automagic. Interesting to know if it had a Takata airbag in it. Mine didn't, mine was pre-airbag, but this is an update one, I think. You can tell by the badge on the boot. What have we got? Yeah, that's an update one. There's another one up here. Show you this. This is beautiful. I saw it before. And this is an LX. This is a base model. And just look at the seats. They're like bloody new. I hate waste. Headline is like brand new. This one is done 228. That would go for another 200,000. These are great engines. KA24 engine. Mine was an Automagic as well. Don't know why you put an aftermarket stereo in. These things sounded incredibly good just with the stock stereo. They had the best stereo in them. And mine was a TI and had the CD as well. Such a waste. KA24 engine, that's the instrument binnacle. Really talky, weren't that great on fuel, but went really well. Rosie, what are you doing? Oh, not rocks. No.
Yes.
No.
Which one do you think is good enough?
If you've got to take a rock, take the little one. Hey, little buddy, how you going? Now, I'm here to take the rack. I want rack. What else do I need from this? I don't think I need anything, do I? I pretty much took everything anyway. Yep, steerage rack. Better take that out. This would be a fantastic little fixer-upper. Looks like it's blown a hose or something. Maybe it's cooked. I don't know. But it's a Triple S, so it's got the heads up. The screen doesn't look bad. It's all really complete. It looks great. I could so fix this up. 151,000 on the clock, which is just barely run in, and it's got the premium sound. Makes a heck of a difference to the sound quality of these things. They're absolutely phenomenal. I really want this. I don't know if I can buy it though, because one, I'll have a divorce on my hands. This would be a great daily though. I know I'm building a daily, but you can always have a couple of them. But yeah, look, it's got the it's got tweeters in the A-pillar. These things go like stink, and it's actually a stick shift, which is great. I love it. It's got the wood grain being in Triple S, the more supportive seats, which are really firm. These things age so well. Rear wiper, which I think was on a Series 2. I don't think the other ones had that. Someone's taken the jack out, what we do. Bit of water in here, but that's because the boot's up and they've got a space saver wheel. And they've got an amp there for the premium sound. There's nothing much to the speakers, you know, you'd be amazed at how good they sound given they're such low spec. That's how I picked Series 2s by that little lock cover. The other ones just had the plain Nissan thing. It's been bashed in here. That's so easy to fix though. I feel an urge to buy this car, but I don't know if you can here. I think they're automatically put on the written off vehicle register. The seat's a bit knackered at the top through being out in the weather. I can fix this. It costs probably nothing to fix. It just depends on the engine. But an untested engine here is a couple $100. You know, worst come to worst, she's going to make another engine. But she's all complete. It's been sitting outside for a while in the cold without being run. It's all sort of oxidised on the alloy there. Has it got a steering rack in it? Or is it all leaked out? Probably costs too much to fix actually, but you just don't see them come up for sale. Triple S manuals like this. Coolant's clean, but it's all rusty around here. I don't know what the story of that is. Maybe it's knackered in here. Oh yeah, that's rooted. Probably needs some work on it. What's the oil like? Is it milky? Oh, they would have taken the oil out, but it looked fairly clean before. I wonder if they smash the sumps on these when they bring them in for wrecking. Let's have a looky. Oh, there's glass on the ground. I want to cut myself. What have we done? No, I think they just took the plug out. CV joint's rooted. It doesn't look like it's been hit. Pardon me. Got the driving lights, or the fog lights being a triple S. TIs were the same. The difference in the TI didn't have the heads up, but it had a sunroof. Anyway, food for thought, hey? It's kind of cool.
I found the perfect rock.
Did you?
Yeah, it's not too round, okay, but it's not too flat, so you can easily flip it over when you need to.
Well, we can dry it off. I can clear coat though, and it'll come out lovely. So you can wash it with a toothbrush and warm water, then write on it, then we'll clear it.
Yeah.
My goodness. So I was going to pull the engine out of this. This video's before you actually saw it. It was all pushed in here. Hello. Hello. Anyway, this is before. There's a video that shows that it's all. What? Hang on. That's Ivy, the special doggy. The Lion King. Right, so this all got pushed in, which is a bummer because this car was dead straight, and we've still got to pull the engine and power steering and all that stuff out and send it off. So, work's still progressing. The red car got $2,400, which was very impressive.
Huh?
Have you seen this? I don't see anyone getting out of it. Hang on,
Nah.
stop. Is it one of Patrick's friends driven?
No, I've never seen this car before.
No, I've not. What is it? It's funny. This is weird because I wanted one of these. TI. Crap, it's one with the sunroof. They're pretty unusual.
Yeah. Will those keys work?
Is it? No, I know all the cars went. I know whose that is. That's mine. That's Alana's. Those cars, I don't know whose those are. I've never seen them. I've got a bunch of keys here. Just keep an eye on here.
Okay.
Try this one.
Maybe try that one?
That's a door key. That's not going to work.
No, that one.
This one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh no! Hang on, just keep an eye on it.
Hurry up and go to the other side.
No. Let's have a look.
You're not. We're about to get in.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Sweet. Well, no one's around.
Might as well.
Actually, Patrick and I went out with guests this morning. I wonder if it's one of theirs. We can just take it around the block and just put it back here, eh?
Yeah, no problem.
Sweet. All right, let's do it. Okay. You don't think I nick a car, do you? Right, so this is a TI. It's got a vibration at the front. There are 3 trim levels. There's the LX, which LXs are very well appointed. They still have power windows, and Series 1's had a cruise control. They dropped that in the Series 2. They had a manual heater, demister setup. They had just a single stereo, a genuine Nissan one, and black piano finish, and a few other bits and pieces. This is the TI luxury one, so you've got the auto climate control. How does this work? Auto, there you go. Air conditioning works a treat on this thing. And they have electric sunroof. Is this open? Do you want the sunroof open, Rosie?
Yeah, sure.
What else do they have? Fog lights at the front and a few other bits and pieces. I'm going to turn that off because it's too cold. But I drove this back and it has a shocking misfire. Can you grab the camera? Let's just go around the block. The registration runs out today, so it'll jump and carry on. So on the way home yesterday, it was jumping all over the place. But anyway, yeah, the base model's the LX. Then they had the TI, which is this one. The seat trim looks very similar, but it had the options we talk about with the fog lights and the high series, you know, climate control and this sort of thing. And then of course there's the Triple S, which had a heads-up display here. Different seat trim, bigger bolstered seats, all that. The Triple S is the one I wanted, but you don't get a sunroof in the Triple S, which didn't worry me. I'm not a big fan of sunroofs, but it's handy that this one works. So that's our little Bluey. It runs very well, but it needs some repairs on it. So we'll just go around the block and take it back home, and we'll just pop some plugs in. I think we'll also do the compression test. What do you think, Rosie?
Yeah.
You know, it's well under $1,000, and you get a lot of car for that. It's even got these, Rose, cup holders and an ashtray that nobody's smoked in, and the cigarette lighter that the whole thing comes out. I think the nut's missing off the back, but nobody's ever arced up a fag in here, so that's really good.
We are so proud.
I believe I am. Weird to Mr. Works, yes. So it's actually really, really good. Great daily, although I'm pretty happy with the Starlie. Let's give me. Okay, you feel that miss? Look at the tacho. Okay, so we've got an issue now. What'll happen, or what happened yesterday, is once there it is, it's starting to falter now. So we need to get that back and fix it. And we'll go back right now. Yesterday, once I got to Eastlink, it had cleared itself out and it was fine. So we'll just get him home and we'll pop a new set of plugs in. I think I put them in the glove box. Are they in the glove box? Yep. I preempted it, and on the way home yesterday I picked them up. This is the ugly part. It's a diabolically filthy KA24. These are a great engine. This has done reasonably high mileage, but it's not fast. Is that recorded? Yeah.
Yes.
Coolant I looked at yesterday was quite clean, although the top tank in the radiator is leaking a bit. So we can see here, there's coolant there. Can you see over there? So we need to pop a radiator into it. We'll just get one from the reco if I can find one. Automatic shifting really well, which is great. Power steering seems to work, although I think the level's low, so it could have a leak in the rack, which means we might be putting a rack in it. And of course CV joints, I'm not expecting them to be much chop. The coolant was fairly clean, even though it looks dirty there. But I'm tipping there's a problem with the plugs. So I'm going to pop a set of plugs in it just for now, and hope that that is what the issue is. So we'll do that, and we'll arc it up and see if she runs again. Let's have a look at these. I don't know when the last time they were replaced. Oh, they look like they're burning quite well. Doesn't really mean much though. We just need to get them out and just replace them. It's a long shot, but it's the cheapest way to try and solve this issue. Could be cap leads, could be a module in the dizzy, could be the ECU, could be anything. And of course we'll have to clear any codes in the computer. And I'm also going to give him a compression test. The engine's old, it seems to run well, particularly when it warms up, but could be anything. Put these back in. Have you got the key?
Yes.
Let's just go for another drive and see if that's fixed it. A long shot, but it looks like it could. could have. That radio's loose too. There's rubbers in there, Pete.
Yeah. Oh, right. Here's the...
I didn't lock it. Did you lock it?
No.
No, just get in. We'll go.
I'm about to drop stuff. Oh. Hold on, Dad. Can you get that?
Put your seatbelt on. Rose is just making really inappropriate jokes. Yep, they've helped. That's cool. Spark plug's easy fix, huh? Alright, so that's all looking pretty good. We'll just go home now. We're just going around the block. It's not too bloody hot for that. Alright, we'll come around this corner, we'll give him a bit of a squirt. Bring it over here. Pretty quick. Like that's pretty good. She runs really, really well. The engine's quiet, there's no knocks, nothing. We'll just give him a compression test to reaffirm that. And yeah, I'm absolutely delighted with it. I have no bones at all. All the stuff that's supposed to be working is working. We've just got to fix up a door lock over there, and I think that's mechanical. I don't think it's the actuator. Stick on that seal, that door seal, give him a buff, and we've got to get rid of that. I hate that. It's got to have the original one there. And I'm sure I've got one. I went to a garage sale maybe 10 years ago, and at the time I had the XD, the MG, an LJ Tirana and a Humber Super Snipe. So I didn't have a car that would be appropriate to the radio, but I found one at a garage sale that was cheap. I think it was like 20 bucks for the, it came with the radio CD and 2 speakers. I don't know if they were front and rear, but I've no idea where it is. So I'm going to look for it and see if I can find it. But if I can, that means I can change that out. The reason I bought it was I've never heard a stereo as good as the holographic ones they use in these TIs and Triple S's. And you can't compare them to anything, they're great. Even though spec-wise they don't look good, they sound incredible. So I picked one up because it was there and put it away. And I've never had a car to put it in. I certainly didn't plan on getting another one of these Bluebirds. I'll tell you what, we'll get it running on premium unleaded. We'll give it a good tune-up, and I reckon it's going to be a winner. The other thing I'd like to do, get a dash top from a Triple S, maybe a speedo head from a Triple S, and put the heads up in. I really want the heads up in here, just because the car was so cheap. And we'll put a radiator in, front bushes, brakes, all this stuff, but it doesn't need a lot of stuff. It really doesn't. It's a really, really good car, and it just drives very well. Given that it's so warm, it's still beautiful to drive. So I'm really happy. Rosie, what's your assessment? And if you don't like it, you know what, be honest. What do you think of it?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I don't have a big opinion of it yet, but that's because...
With the fact that it's comfortable, it's got nice seats, the engine runs well, the automatic's good, the air conditioning is great, the sunroof's great. Let's open the sunroof.
Yeah.
But we've got to open this. Hang on. I'm not even a sunroof kind of guy, but Susie is.
It's something that everyone will be able to drive and everyone will enjoy. So
well, it's an auto. I want a stick.
Plus.
I prefer a stick, but for this car, you know, I'd like Alana to take it because it's better than her car. But I reckon it'll get a lot of use, this one, and I reckon it's a family member for good, unless it gets wiped off somewhere. But the horn pad feel, I don't want to honk, there's a bunch of kids there, but the horn pad feels a little bit spongy. Horn works though. I'm stoked. Now, this is 1994, so it's 25 years old. Yet to find a 25-year-old car with 250,000 Ks on it that's quite as good as this. Certainly for the money. And I paid $800, which I think was a very good price. Now, the one at the Wreckers we were talking about, we could have picked that up for the same price. They told us you can buy it. It wasn't put on the written off vehicle register. Most of those vehicles are post 1998. So the car wasn't in a collision, but it was relinquished from the family that owned it. But when they come out of the Wreckers, the catalytic converter's cut out of them, the fuel tank's punctured to drain it, and the air conditioning is degassed. So this car's pretty good. The lenses down there look alright. There's probably a bit of sandblasting on that one. Are they plastic or glass? Glass, beautiful. Alright. So they're alright. The wheels are in good nick. They need painting. I wouldn't mind Series 2 wheels though. They look exactly the same, but they're sort of a bit fresher looking. They're polished. The bumper from the record's about $40. And if I don't use any paint on this car, it's going to be cheaper just getting another bumper than it is to, you know, muck around with that and then paint it. Let's open him up and have a look in here. The car's straight, so there's no panel damage that needs doing. All the power windows work. The door trims are in great condition. This door lock's got a fault, but it's not electrical. The solenoid's, you know, working, but sometimes it doesn't lock properly, so I'll take that lock out and figure out what's wrong with that. All the climate control works properly. The air conditioning's icy cold. The power steering's wonderful. The cruise control works. The power mirrors work. All the instrumentation works. Did I mention the sunroof? The sunroof works. The radio, even though I don't like that style of radio, the radio sounds really good. It might, there's muck under the guards. Not a bad idea. That'll all be coming out through the plenum somewhere. That's where they normally drain. I'll unbolt the bottoms of the guards and clean all that out. Oh, you hit my head. Seatbelt's good. That's roadworthy. Let's have a look around here. I'll have it unlocked. Only unlocked one side of it. The window tint's in good condition. I'm not really into, hang on, wrong key. I'm not really into window tinting, but you know, that's beside the point. It's not important. Oh, there's a touch up there. Can you see that? In there. Door check straps seem to be working alright. All the seat belts down the back appear to be in very, very good condition. Centre armrest is great. The upholstery is beautiful. Ashtrays are beautiful and clean. There's just very, very little wrong with it. Let's give him a kick in the guts. There's a vibration, which I believe is to do with the engine mounts. So there's going to be some mechanical stuff that needs to be fixed on it. The power steering fluid's low, so I might have a leak in the rack. Is that working? Yeah, that works. And there's just, hang on. And there's just small, insignificant stuff that needs to be fixed on it. Back window's working. I'm trying to flick the camera around. That's cool. So you can hear, there could be a, yeah, that's all working, that switch is good. There's like a, sounds like a diesel from here. It's kind of like a vibration. That's easy. The electric antenna on the radio works. When you're driving the car, it doesn't seem as loud, it's very quiet, but there is a, you can feel a vibration through the car with the engine, and that will be the mounts. So that's all good as gold. Hear that vibration? Yeah, I don't know what that is. Oh gosh. The sunroof tilts and opens. Okay, we're stuck now. Oh, here we go. We might just use a bit of dry lube on that. Silicone lube, I think, is what we're supposed to use with the sunroof. All good. Air conditioning's beautiful on this car. So our climate controller works. And we can pick what this do. Odd direction, so it's just floor. Floor and screen, yep. Face. So all your vacuum motors are working, that's beautiful. And floor and face. There's just nothing wrong with it. Fan speed. Auto, well, you turn it off and just go for demist. That automatically puts the air conditioning on, and then of course recirc. I mean, that's just perfect. The automatic changes beautifully. The overdrive and lockup converter is perfect. You can see the vibration, see the wheel? We need to address that. But I have no complaints. The books are inside. It came with all its books with a full service history. Does the demister work? If I put the demister on. Yep, we got the side glass demisting. These cars also have, when you put the headlights on, cornering lights. Which we probably won't be able to see now. If your headlights are on and your indicators are on. Oh, it's just the bonnet's vibrating. If the indicators are on, we get these side turning lights as well. So it's all really, really good. Well, that shut it up. So very, very good. The only issue, which is easy, I'm tipping is easy, is when I lock the doors, the central locking is working, but oh, that one's locked. Sometimes that stays open, so we can look at that. This boot thing is missing, so I'll try and get another one of those. It looks like they just slide out with a clip inside there. Boot light's working. Someone's messed around with the wiring for the speakers and the stereo, but the amps are still connected. So I need to have a look at that. I've just pulled this up here so I can see what I need, what tools I need to get a bumper bar. But yeah, absolutely incredible condition. All it really needs is a wash and a polish, a bumper, and the wheels cleaned, and it'll look $1 million. So I think what we'll need a set of tyres, because there's a bubble in the right hand front one. We'll need to find out what the heavy oil leak is. It's going to need a radiator too, I reckon. It's leaking coolant, and good clean up. Rebush some of the suspension. If the struts are leaking, we'll replace those. So it's just all basic mechanical stuff, but a pleasure to fix as well. So very, very, very happy indeed with this car. Right, well, we've got the spark plugs in, which was successful. We're going to give it a compression test now. I'm only doing one cylinder at a time. I've left these other plugs in because I haven't had a chance to blow these out with compressed air, so I don't want the reciprocating action to sort of suck any dirt or dust in, because it is fairly dirty. So the readings will come out a little bit lower. We've disconnected our distributor module, which might lodge a couple of codes, but never mind, we can get rid of those. I'll just see what it comes up with. So foot flat down. Let's see what that yielded. Well, that looks quite healthy. I think the compression ratio on these is about 9.2, so we're on 190. That's pretty good. So we'll just stick down 190, 190, and we'll do the others and we'll come back. We're pretty lucky so far. We've got 190 across 3 of them. We're just going to pop this in. Normally when you turn a camera on, everything turns to crap, but we're going to go for broke and see what number 4 gives us. And whoa, here we go. What's the secret number? 190 again. My goodness, typical Japanese car quality. So I am absolutely stoked with this car. Couldn't be better. Absolutely couldn't be better. And you know, you do take a risk buying old cars, particularly ones like this where, you know, a lot of people weren't particularly fond of them, and cars get to an age when they're just not maintained as well as they were before, but this one appears to be really, really good. note with some of the books. It came with quite a lot of information. Of course, you've got your owner's manual here. You always get these things with the new Nissans. Mine had the same thing in it when I got it. Service history is wonderful. You know, it's first one, you know, at 1,000 kilometres, and it's just been very, very regularly serviced up to 160,000, and then the book ran out. So that's really, really good. I'm happy with that. Lots of things like, you know, information about lubricants and dealer network stuff, and if you have a prang, and this rather lovely Nissan billfold thing for the books all going to. That all came with it, as well as, I'm assuming that's a sunroof crank if the motor fails. And of course this phone, I'm not going to turn it around, it's Helen's registration slip, and that's got her address on it, so we'll leave that turned the wrong way. I actually thought this stereo would be rubbish, but you probably can't hear it on the thing, and I can't have the sound too loud, but the bass response is really, really good. The tweeters on the A-pillar are working, and front speakers are working. It's all good. I'm actually quite surprised. It's a Sony, so it's not a bad one, but I just like the OE stuff better. Right, so been doing a tiny bit of shopping. Couple of things. This is a Series 2 grill from a Triple S, right colour. I think it looks better than the one that's on there now, but they just clip in. If we don't like it, we can just put the original one back. I took this off because I don't need it, but it's a good set of spares. The auto climate control, if you ever get trouble with that, we've got another one there and a clock and all sorts of other bits, power mirrors, cruise control switches, and that I had to pull off as well to get the instrument vehicle out, so I bought that. Head-up display with the surround and the wiring loom, and that all plugs into the instrument cluster. This is a slightly different cluster in that it's got the, where is it? Yes, the window display switch there, otherwise it's the same, and of course all the other electronic gubbins on the back, and that was all really reasonable stuff. They're the wheel caps from the Series 2 car. I'm going to get some Series 2 wheels. They're kind of plastic coated and they always look clean. So wheels are $30 each, so I can go and get those. Minimal charge. The cigarette lighter receptacle, the clip-on, ours is broken, so that'll keep it in. And boot badge, the one with the flip thing, which means we'll be recoding the lock, and picked up a Series 2 one as well, which I think they look a lot smarter. So that's about it for those. I forgot, I'm going to have to go back and tell them about that because I forgot. I pulled everything out of the bucket and I forgot that was there. So I'm going to go and tell them about that. But yeah, that's the thing I wanted. If you can see the little display in there. I'm excited about this. The dash needs to be cut, but I might grab a dash from the wreckers as well. It just means it's going to be easier than taking measurements and cutting it, then you make a mistake and all that sort of stuff. So I'll go and pick up a few other bits and pieces, and in the next chapter we'll have a bit of a fiddle around, clean it up and see where we can go with this stuff. So it's the end of the road for this little guy. I can't take Mum out at the moment, it's just not safe with the coronavirus, so we can take this off the road now. And we're back into the SS Commodore as a daily. I want to thank Alison and her mum Helen for the opportunity to buy this car. I've had it for a couple of weeks now, and they were wonderful, very professional, and also really flexible with the price as well. Helen's mum actually, or Alison's mum, sorry, Helen, actually kissed the bonnet of the thing as I was leaving. She's going to miss it, I dare say, and with good reason too. It's a fantastic car. So Alison and Helen, if you see this, thank you very much indeed for allowing me to buy the car at such a wonderful price, and I wish you all the best. So on that note, I'll say goodbye, take good care of yourselves, enjoy a classic, and I shall see you later. What do you reckon? She haven't. Jesus.